Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Nubeva's channel. We have a special guest for you guys today. Now, we have talked to Randy extensively, but today we are sitting here with the Chief Marketing Officer and Head of Product at Nubeva, Steve Perkins. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very well. I'm very glad to have you on. Very excited to dive into your past and your role. So, first and foremost, let's paint a picture for people. Tell me about your past experience before you got involved with Nubeva.
Okay, so let me kind of go backwards in time. My last role before joining this company, I was the CMO at a company called Optiv Security, one of the largest pure play cybersecurity companies in North America. At that time, they were owned by Blackstone.
Mhm.
And it came about as a roll up of a number of cybersecurity, early stage cybersecurity consulting and integrator companies. And before that, I actually came across, and that's the prior company that was Aruba Networks, where I met Randy and Greg, actually. That's where we first met. And we were there involved at Aruba Networks at the very early stages before they were shipping product. I joined the company. They were already there as principal engineering folks, designing and architecting. Now, of course, Aruba has really pioneered the idea of secure Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi was a thing. And now they were bought by Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard, that's now the brand of Hewlett Packard's networking. Before that, I was at a number of other places. Among them was Cisco and Hewlett Packard, and their computing divisions, et cetera, et cetera. So I go back a while.
Interesting. So, it sounds like you've always kind of been in the cyberspace, though. What's the spark in that for you? What is it that attracts you into it?
Well, actually, by degree, I'm an electrical engineer. And but somehow I crossed over to the business dark side, and I think my talent always was being fascinated with technology and what it could do, but figuring out really how to communicate it and relate it to business and real world, right? That's always been my passion. That's what I think I've developed a skill for, and that kind of leads me right to my role here at the company today.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I couldn't imagine that looking at the way things were coming together over the course of time. I was very young as the internet was fleshing out as it was, but it's truly turned into quite its own thing. And so yeah, now let's dive into that a little bit. Where you are at Nubeva, what drew you into the company in the first place?
Well, it turns out it was time to leave my post at Optiv prior to this, and I was actually looking at pseudo retiring. Uh, and I bumped into Randy, old friend, and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I got this idea I want you to take a look at." And we started talking. I said, "Wow, that sounds pretty interesting." And right about then, frankly, my wife was starting to say, "Yeah, I don't think retirement's a good idea for you." And I was pretty enamored with some of the ideas that Randy and Greg had. And so it started with me doing a little bit of consulting and advising, and then I became a part-time CMO. And next thing I know, I'm here full time.
Yeah,
That's
fair
really
enough.
how it happened.
Yeah, so talk to me about that then. So now you're the chief marketing officer and head of product. Very interesting titles to have in tandem with each other. So explain that. How do they connect?
Yeah, well, I think there's two parts to that. One is I'm responsible for everything go to market or market facing from this company, really.
Mhm.
And you could think of we are a deep engineering company. We have been committed to always being a leading edge technology innovator. But then we've got to figure out problems in market we want to solve and how we're going to solve them. And then once we solve them, how do we actually take them to market? That's my job. So I have I don't want to say a sole say, but a very influential say in what we're building and why we're building it and how we package and position and place it,
Mhm.
which typically is product management. Product management's not always part of marketing proper.
Yeah.
So that's the first goal. And the second goal is it connotes when I'm talking to people, you'll find I'm fairly technical. So I'm not the arts and crafts kind of CMO. I'm very much a roll up your sleeves and understand technical problems. As I told you, I'm an electrical engineer from by degree and an engineer. So I understand things pretty darn low level as well.
Yeah, what's really interesting is titles at the end of the day are they don't really determine what it is people do. People kind of determine the titles, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
especially the smaller
Yeah.
the company, the more things someone handles in the breadth of their scope, so to speak. So yeah, I would say those things describe you really well. Kind of going further past that, what is the thing with Nubeva that excites you the most going forward from here?
Oh, wow. Well, I think we've got huge upside, huge potential. If you look at, you know, the product that we started selling 2.5 years ago and the technology there, the TLS decryption
Mhm.
is taking off. Um, it looks like we were a little early in market, but we see a steady growing demand starting to build for that. But the ransomware stuff is absolutely explosive.
Yeah.
I mean, ransomware is not going away anytime soon. And despite what cybersecurity defenders are saying that they can stop ransomware, they can't. I mean, we've been saying the cybersecurity industry has been saying we're going to stop the bad guys for 30 years, and they don't.
No.
It is a never-ending game of cat and mouse. And I think that we've developed a very important technology for this moment in time because there is a scourge. It's called ransomware. It looks like about 50% of the time, people are getting attacked no matter what they have in place. Even if they have the best technology, human errors happen and stuff gets through. And then when they do, there's about a 50% chance that your backups will not be good enough. So then what do? You end up paying criminals,
Yep.
and all the data says that if you pay a criminal, you've got an 80% chance you're going to be attacked again in a year. Okay?
Yeah.
So I mean that's the horror of ransom. Once you show that you'll pay, then they'll come at you again and again and again to knowing you're a sucker.
Yep.
We have a fundamental answer to that, right? We literally do. So we have a technology that says if we're in place, you never have to pay a ransom again, or you shouldn't have to work and depend upon criminals.
Right.
And we think that the technology is proving itself out every day. Now it's us figuring out how to sell it in a world where people are running Super Bowl ads saying, "Hey, you buy me and you'll never get hit by ransomware," or a whole storage industry that's saying, "You just need to do more backups." And we're walking in saying, "We've got something new you should look at." Right, and that's the challenge now, is iterating our go to market. I am absolutely convinced that what we have is something important and of value. Now it's a matter of how do we package it, how do we take it to, what are the right channels to market that
Yeah.
are efficient and effective, what's the pricing models, and all that sort of stuff. We're still iterating on to find the frictionless inflection point.
Yeah, you're taking something that the people weren't really aware of as a product before. It's going from the abstract in the mind, you're trying to solidify it into something real. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, they don't really understand it until they potentially get ransomware, and then it's more of an "I told you so" story. So, I feel like yeah, you're definitely in the right place at the right time, and you're moving forward with this message. So, Steve, thank you so much for coming on, introducing yourself, talking about your role. Is there anything else you want to add about yourself before we go today?
Not about myself. I think if you like what we have to say, tell a friend and ask them to take a look at us. I mean, we're here to try to do a lot of good while we do well as a company. We think we've got a lot of value. So, and if you out there listening, you like this story, buy it, tell your friends to buy it, and we'll protect you.
Perfect. Well, Steve, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to send them over. And Steve, have a wonderful day.
Thanks. You too.